morning. Today we're going to be learning about verbs in the active and the passive voice. So there's not a very big difference that you really notice whenever you're reading something, but it does make you pay attention to what you're supposed to be, according to the author, paying attention to. So we'll start with the active voice. When a sentence is written in the active voice, the subject performs the action of the verb. So 2 examples here. Mr. Sanchez painted the house. Mr. Sanchez is performing the action. He's the subject. The bus driver opened the door. The driver opened the door. So the driver is performing the action of opening the door. So again, in the active voice, the subject is the person or the thing that's performing the verb. When a sentence is written in the passive voice, the subject receives the action of the verb. So the sentence is almost flipped in a way. We'll look at the same 2 sentences. The house was painted by Mr. Sanchez. So the house didn't do the painting. It was painted by Mr. Sanchez. The door was opened by the bus driver. The door was opened, but the door did not do the opening. Then I have a little side note written here for you to kind of help you. A form of the helping verb be is used with the main verb, and a phrase beginning with by often follows the verb. And that is specifically whenever we are looking at verbs written in the passive voice. And then if we take a look over here, I've got another little note for you. We'll take another look at some more examples. In general, whenever you're using the active voice, you create a stronger piece of writing that's more interesting for people to read. The passive voice can be used when you want to emphasize the receiver of an action, or when you do not want to emphasize the performer of the action. So if you really want people to know what is happening, not who is making it happen or what's making it happen, that's when you would be using the passive voice. But primarily we are going to be using the active voice because that is generally how writing comes naturally. The subject performs the verb. And then we've got 4 examples here. There's the bell. All right. The front yard is mowed by my husband, Zach. So the first thing I notice whenever I'm going to be looking to decide whether or not something is active or passive is this little word here, by. And then I can look back down at my rule. Beginning with by often follows the verb. That's the verb. So now I know that's written in the passive voice. So I'm going to write a P over here for passive. Mrs. Jennings answered the phone. Mrs. Jennings is our subject. She did the answering of the phone, therefore that is active. The subject is performing the verb. So we'll write an A for active. Perseus cut off Medusa's head. So that's in mythology. Perseus is our subject, and he was the character who was doing the cutting off of Medusa's head. So our subject is performing the verb. Again, that follows the rule for active voice. And then lastly, I have here, panels were installed by local electricians. I see another word that will help us, by. And then I'm going to ask myself, did the panels do the installing? No, the electricians did. But the electricians are the piece of the sentence at the end that's receiving the action. They didn't perform. That tells me here it meets my passive rule as well as over here. So that is going to be passive. Again, if you guys ever have any questions, please feel free to send me an email or send me a message through Google Classroom. I hope you have a fantastic day.